Hey YouTubers, morning Rob of it. Guys, we got a good one this morning. We're going to be talking about all the car accidents I've ever been in Miami, here in South Florida. Been driving since the 70s, and over the years I've been in some real doozies. Uh, I thought we'd start with the simple, easy fender bender ones and lead up to some of the magnificent, completely total wrecks, and ending with the best, funniest, hilarious, most the best car accident I was ever in. So let's get started. The first one we're talking about was Christmas Eve, the day before Christmas Eve. And I was on US 1, Biscayne Boulevard, going to the shopping mall. And it was bumper to bumper. And you know how it is. Everybody's trying to buy their Christmas presents. This was before the internet, before Amazon. We'd all go to the shopping mall, make our last minute Christmas purchase. And like this old lady hit me from behind, bam, and it was a little fender bender. I got out and I started talking to her, and she kept looking straight ahead. This old blue-haired lady. I don't know, like if she couldn't speak English or she was just on drugs or she was afraid. Or but I asked her if she was okay, and I kept talking to her, and she kept looking straight ahead. So finally, and the cars left, and I said, I got to go do my Christmas shopping, and I just left. But that was just a simple. That was a simple South Florida fender bender, but kind of unusual because of the response I got for the person who slammed into me. Um, the second one that was kind of interesting, I was on I-95 with my girlfriend, and who was Hispanic, and that's important to the story because we were like really bumper to bumper. Just you go 3 feet and stop, 3 feet and stop, and then I guess there was a space like maybe 10 feet in this car full of young girls, Hispanic girls. My girlfriend got mad at them, but they went bam, and they slammed into me. I was stopped. The car in front of me was stopped, and they went bam, and like what the heck? What the heck is going on? I got out. They're all young girls, and my girlfriend, she got mad at them. She told me they were a bunch of wannabe fake. I'm not going to use the word she said. I could get a problem started, but um, the thing that annoyed me was how annoyed they seemed. Like like there's a big space and he just slammed right into me. And uh, I said, I'm not gonna, you know, we're on the expressway. What are you gonna do? You wait for the police. Like it was a little dent, and my car was old, had a dent already. So it's all right. But there was just how annoyed they looked. The look on their faces, like I was a problem, or why couldn't I have been Brad Pitt? They slammed into. Like it was like, it was it was all my fault, and they were very unhappy that my car was in front of them that they hit. Like it was it was interesting. The next one, once again, I was on Biscayne Boulevard, and um, I was getting close to the Jockey Club in North Miami Beach, and um, on US 1 going south, and I stopped at a red light. There was a car in front of me stopped. It was a Jaguar, and the light turned yellow, and they stopped, and I stopped, and then I heard something behind me, somebody yelling in a language I had not heard before. I wasn't familiar with, but it seemed to be Asian. And I looked out my rearview mirror, and I saw the person behind me. Without slowing down, he was yelling out his driver's side window at somebody over here, and he was continuing to go and slammed me into a Jaguar, and um, yeah, got hit by a guy yelling at somebody out the side window. Um, the lady in the Jaguar was very very calm about the whole situation. They totaled my car. Um, it was not fixable, and it was old and it was used, and the insurance company didn't want to give me any money for it. And but it was still drivable. Um, but it they told it, and I wasn't able to keep it. Um, the next one was one of the most uh, damaging to me. Is I was once again on Bill Biscayne Boulevard. I was Father's Day. I went to see my dad, and it was a yellow light, and I slowed down to stop, and this woman from the Bahamas, she slammed into me, and then pushed me all across. Well, actually, because I had for some reason I have a strange habit when I'm driving stick to put on the emergency brake on. It was I don't know why I got that habit because there's no hills in South Florida, so I would just put the emergency brake on. So when she hit me, it wasn't like a bumper shot. It was like when she hit me, she kept pushing me through, and but it was very fast. My seat came broke, so I was laying down, looking up on the ceiling of the car as I was being pushed through the intersection. The radio came out of the dash, and it was pretty bad. Um, she didn't have a seatbelt on, and her child didn't either. They smashed the windshield pretty good, um, and the they towed my car. And once again, they totaled it, but this time I was able to get the insurance company to give me the car back for scrap value, whatever, because I took it home because I have a lot of money and there was no way for me to get another car. Uh, so I was trying to bend the sheet metal away from the rear tire with the sledgehammer so I could drive it. I propped up the back seat with a big ice chest, igloo ice cooler, and put the radio back in the dashboard. But I was slamming the metal away from the wheel because it was pushing in, and where I lived, where there was an apartment building, a bunch of boxers from South America, from Central America, and they were living in several of the units, and they came out. They didn't speak much English, and I didn't speak much Spanish, but after seeing me slam the sledgehammer into the wheel part of the car, they took the hammer away from me, and they all took turns beating my car so we could get the wheel back on. And I gave it to my sister who moved to Miami from Texas. She didn't have a car, and she drove that around for a long time, and with the front seat propped up with the ice chest. But yeah, that was a bad accident. I felt sorry for the lady; she got hurt and her kid, but I guess it was my fault. I stopped for a yellow light in Miami. The most funny one I ever had was taking my brother over to Miami Beach. This time it wasn't on Biscayne Boulevard, and I was taking him to a pet shop, and it was a bumper to bumper, and actually no, it wasn't bumper to bumper. It was just a regular street, and I was stopped at a stop sign, and this woman went bam hit me, and she came out really tall, beautiful, just like you would imagine in a movie or something. And I think she was Brazilian. And I got in my car and she came over and she looked at my car, she looked at her car, then she put her hand on my shoulder, and she was very tall. And she looked right into my eyes and she says, "Oh, our cars, they kiss kiss." Oh, uh, I just couldn't help myself. That was so funny. I already had a couple dents, so I guess what the hell. But some Brazilian supermodel says, "Our cars, they kiss kiss." So if you ever get in an accident, you may remember that line. Who knows? It could help you. So yeah, those are my 5 accidents I was involved in that somebody hit me. The only things that I've ever hit have been wood. One time I had a neighbor that was he wasn't a bad guy, but he was a drinker, and he was always drinking and coming over, and he wanted me to take him someplace because he had been scrounging around and scrapped out some carburetors. Wanted me to take him someplace so he could sell them, but he didn't know where it was. And we were driving around, and I was driving my old Volkswagen VW, and I just got so tired of him. Like we weren't. I didn't know where we were going, and I just wanted to go back home. And so finally, I said I can't take it anymore. So there was a yard in front of me, and there was a big tree, and the top of the Volkswagen van was fiberglass, so I knew like if there were little branches on the end of the tree, just little leaves, it wouldn't really hurt. So, but I didn't realize that tree, um, there were little branches, but they had been sawed off. So behind those big branches were some really big pieces of wood. So when I pulled off the road and got into the tree to turn around, there was a branch popped my window, broke my window. So when I pulled around, my friend he stopped talking. I looked over, and I see a glass all over his face and stuff where the glass comes. So that was one thing I hit. Another time, I was at a parking garage, and somebody asked me if I could help them. Their car was blocked, and they couldn't get. And I had a coat hanger somewhere in the car, so I said, sure. So I went to back up, and I didn't realize there was a parking, like a big metal concrete post right next to my car. So when I went to like back or turn around, I just crunched my car up against it. And oh, Jesus, that was terrible. Another time, I went to get my car fixed and was at the mechanic for like 2 weeks. It was a Volkswagen. And I picked up the car, and like a couple blocks away, I stopped at the North Miami Library just to check my oil level. And my oil level was way over the top. And it made me so mad that I didn't realize I was right behind a telephone pole. So I backed into it, and I could see the wires in front of me going like, and I had, the Volkswagen vans were flat all the way up. And I had like a little dent at the bumper and a little dent in the trunk where you open. And oh man, I took it to the mechanic. He said, just fucking drive it. If it's over too much oil, you blow your oil shield, and you got to pull the engine. It was terrible. So that's about the only accident I was ever in. Like, um, so cross fingers and knock on wood. Hopefully, won't get any. But yeah. So those are my driving adventures in Miami, South Florida. So y'all want to stay safe out there. Things are. I did have two people point guns at me in traffic in Miami. Like one time on 27th Avenue, 36th Street. Like here's the bridge, and the bridge was opening, so I couldn't turn here because the bridge was opening, and there was a guy behind me wanted me to turn and go, but I'm in the turning lane. I can't turn because there's no place to go because the bridge opened. He took out a gun and he was pointing at me and he was like threatening me. Another time, I pulled out into traffic, and there was a red light down here, and the guy was coming, and I pulled out, and then the guy came behind me, and he had to slow down, and he pulled out a gun, and he was threatening me. So yeah, you sometimes. I was driving a bicycle one time. I think somebody actually shot at me um, on uh, on 25th Street, and so yeah, it's kind of South Florida is very entertaining. It's only getting better. So see you out there, guys. Oh, our cars, they kiss kiss.